Hello and welcome back to Worlds Together Builders. We are back to the map. And we are going to be continuing on with some rivers and some more detailing, and we're going to get into some things. I've made a few minor changes and I'll explain those. But first, I'd come up with a name for the world, and I had it last time, but I forgot to mention it. The name of the world is Coembar, which is apparently Sindarin Elvish for Earth World. It's two separate words, but I just smushed them together, you know? So we have Earth World here. Yay! Alright, so, and you may have noticed that I've got a bit of background music going this time. I found some that I could use that sounds pretty cool, and I like it. It's kind of inspiring me. Hopefully it does it for you as well. Let's go over the few changes I made. So, one. A lot of the forest areas I thought were a little too dark, so I made this lighter green color and mixed that in to kind of brighten them up a bit. I added a couple more little forest areas and you know, smooth things out a little. Then I also added these two colors to start doing some kind of marshy areas. So these are going to be real wet, nasty areas. So let's think about where these kinds of things would be. So I mean, this looked like a good area to have this kind of stuff with all these little islands and things where you know, a plate would have split apart and there'd be all these kind of rough areas right around the coast. I think I want to go in and do a bit of lakes, because I had this idea that I wanted to have kind of this area that had, you know, just a ton of little lakes in it, and it was kind of a marshy area. So let us zoom in a little bit, and I think I want to do that. Where would be a good... Oh, maybe this place down here would be kind of cool. Well, no. Let's do that. Let's do that up in this area. Yeah, I like that. All right, so zoom in here a little bit, and then we've got this nice lake tool. And what's nice about it is, I mean, you can change the size and the roughness and the detail. Let me bring the brush size up a little bit so you can see it. So what it does is it makes these random lakes, but every time you drop one, it changes the lake. So you can just drop a bunch around and they'll be all different. But I want a bunch of really little lakes in some marshy area. So let's see about doing something like this. And, you know, some of them will be connected, some of them won't. There, that's good. So then we'll go back to the paint. Land paint, thank you. And we'll do our kind of marshy area in here. And have kind of this marshy, lakey area, which is very reminiscent of, well, Florida, where I live. So, you know, there's that. Alright, and we'll kind of run this into the forests. Alright, so now we've got this kind of marshy area. I'm going to drop the opacity and blend the edges a little better. And then we'll do that a little bit more. Don't worry about the mountains. We're going to fix those in a minute. I'll show you how to fix those. It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right. So, I like that. Let's see if we can find another kind of marshy area. So we got jungle over here. I think it might be good to have kind of a marshy area over here. So let's do that. Let's get a little bit of a marshy area in here. And we'll do not as many lakes, but I want to do a few lakes in here. No, not water. Lakes. Thanks. We'll do them a little bit bigger for this area. Not that big. That looks good. Alright, so we'll have some lakes. We'll put them a little farther apart, so there's just a lot of water in this area, and we'll probably connect them up with some rivers and stuff. It'll be cool. Don't worry about it. Let's do a little bit bigger lake down here. And we'll do some smaller lakes kind of in the middle and scattered around. Tiny lakes. Well, that's too tiny. Okay. And then we'll get back to the land brush and make ourselves a nice little area. Marshy area. Bring the opacity up just a bit and a little more brush size so I can get this done sometime today. Know what I'm saying? Yeah, of course you know what I'm saying. Nice marshy area here. There we go. That's a little better. That's a little better. I mean, you do you, chat, but that's better for me. Keep saying chat because I'm used to doing live stuff and talking to chat all the time, but you're not chat. But I can't really call you comments. Can I? I mean, I guess I could, but that'd be weird. Alright, let's switch to this color. See if we can feather out the edges a bit. There we go. All right, so I want to go do this color on our other marshy area. Kind of blend the edges down a bit so they're not harsh. There. That's looking pretty good. Yep. Let's see. I think that I would like to have kind of a prominent lake down here too. Right in the middle of this. Boop. There we go. A lake. Ta-da. Alright, where else should we have some lakes? Let's do kind of a big lake. Ooh, up here would be a good spot for one. Boom. There we go. And maybe we can have a lake right here between these mountain ranges. Boom. And well, got some lakes up there. Let's see. A lake in the middle of the desert. How about we bring that down a little bit so it's kind of hard to find in the world. Know what I'm saying? Boom, little oasis. And then, oh yeah, I like it. Little oasis in the desert. So what we're going to do there is we're going to get some grass. Zoom in a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Brush size up. We'll just make a little oasis right here where this water is. That can be some, I don't know, magical place in this desert. We're not going to worry about it yet. We'll think it through later. Opacity down and... Let's see, let's go to... yeah, that one. Kind of blend this out a little bit. We don't want it to be a circle. Let's go back to here. I don't know, chat. What do you think? Do you like the music? Should I keep the music for next time? Well, I mean, I'm kind of pre-recording these, so let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll correct it as soon as I can see the comments. Alright. So that's a cool little oasis in the desert. Now, we've got to work on our little, kind of our year zero world-changing event. So here's how the story goes. The big world-changing event, we haven't decided exactly what to call it yet, but what happened was a necromancer who was extremely powerful but wanted more power created a ritual in where he was trying to raise all the dead in the world at once to be his army. Unfortunately, things went bad, and he ended up causing a incredibly powerful magical explosion that not only blew apart the physical world around him, where he was, but also started blowing apart the fabric of magic. And so instead of awakening the dead, what he ended up doing was awakening my brain just stopped. He started awakening all the inanimate objects in the world. And so there's an area where that has started, like they immediately woke there. And this effect is starting to spread out from that area. So we're going to have an area in here where that happened. So we need kind of a blasted, dead area. And I think there would be a good place to have that, and we want to have low brush opacity because we're using this really dark black for the center of this. And we're going to go fairly small. So since we're going to be concentrating in this kind of area for our campaigns, and one of the campaigns is going to kind of center on is going to kind of happen a couple hundred years after this event, but center on what this event is. We're going to have it somewhere on one of these two continents so it can be accessible from the starting point. I think what might be good... Oh, yes. All right. So he was... Oh, it could be that actually created Skull Lake. Yeah, that the blast actually created that. All right, so if we take and start working this around, so there'll just be a bunch of dead land here. And in the middle, it's going to be like just black and charred and all dead. So this is going to be whatever we end up calling this area. This is going to be the remnants of that world-changing event. So that's actually going to set our world at year 0. And because it was such a major world-changing event, it actually changed the fabric of magic in the world. It changed the landscape, the physical landscape. It just did a whole lot of stuff. So we're going to put that here, and this will be the blasted lands, the ruined lands, something like that. And this is going to be the center of our campaign. This is going to be where they need to get to. So we're going to have this, move this down a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can start making it look like it's kind of radiated out and look like it exploded. You know, like the kind of like the Tunguska blast where that meteor hit and it just blew things out for ever. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, or know about that, but you should look it up. It's a really weird picture. It's like just blew forest over, and I mean, it looked, you know, it was a meteor that hit, but it looked like a bomb went off. So we want this kind of radiating out from here. Oh, I think that's neat. It just blew things up in the middle so badly that it created this lake, which happens to be in the shape of a skull, which kind of fits the narrative, I think. So we're going to do this. And then I want to get another, a little bit lighter gray to kind of fill things in here. And kind of tone the edges down a bit. So all this land is kind of dead. And so we're going to be maybe 200 years on. Things have started to come back, but there are some areas where life just can't grow anymore. So you can see the forest is starting to encroach back on here, because I don't want to go back and erase it and stuff. But so let's get this a little blended. Alright, so there's our world-changing thing. Alright, so now we're going to go back to symbols, and we're going to start putting forests and stuff in. So I'm going to concentrate on this area down here, and I need to see if I can find the trees I like. I think it was these. Yeah, those are the ones. So we just start filling in forests. And I'll do this with the rest of the map, but basically all the places that we put this extra green area, we'll put the forest symbols in, these little icons. And we'll fill them up, and then what we'll do is we will go back in and start cutting out like clearings or paths, large paths, you know, if major roads are going through somewhere. I'll show you. Don't worry, I'll show you. Let me get this filled all in. Now we don't have to, I mean, we want this to look like the world is really big, so we want to make sure we're scaling these reasonably, the mountains and the stuff, but we don't have to worry. I mean, you know, trees are not going to be this big in the real world compared to this mountain scale, but if we made them much smaller, you couldn't see them at all on the map. So, you know, people are going to have drawn these maps, and so they fill things in like they think they need to. All right, so then we can just go to the symbol eraser, and we can say, don't do mountains. Don't do any other symbols, just do trees, and I can start cutting clearings out. And I think that let's make this really small. We'd have kind of a road cutting through here to this clearing, and then maybe cutting out through, and then the clearing maybe a little bigger there to the edge of the mountains. There we go. So we've got a little path, and we can put a little clearing over here, and we just keep doing that for all of the forested areas, and that'll fill that part of the map up. So we also want to do some rivers. Now, the way rivers work is they don't branch apart, they'll branch together. They start in mountains and they flow towards the sea. So we'll have a bunch of rivers, and what we can do is, I like the river width 4, I think, is probably the best, but you can just put them there and it'll just cut a river in, which is really nice, this tool. And you can use you can click to make them wind around, and see, they'll connect up, so that's nice. So we'll put some rivers in to connect all these things. Oops, I missed. So we'll undo that, start again. So rivers always find the shortest, easiest path to water. So if one's going to come out of here, going to flow around these mountains, let's say, and then if one came out here, this is where the branching looks, but it's not branching apart, it's branching together. So keep that in mind when you're doing your rivers. That's how rivers work. And we can just put a bunch of rivers around here. Let's see, we may have one that goes, winds through the forest and then winds out here. Now, our rivers may make us want to change some of the biomes. So we'll want to be cognizant of that. But we're just going to put a bunch of rivers out here. See, here's going to be another one that links up, and possibly something like that as well, because it looks cool. Now, lakes, large lakes, usually will have one river coming in and one going out to the sea, if they have entry and exit at all. Most of the time they will. So I think I want to pull one out here, because I also want to link a river up from here, and from here, this will be a major river system here. Let's have one coming down around this way as well. So we'll want to end this video here, but this will give you an idea of what the rivers are going to look like. I'll go finish up all the rivers around, and then we'll take a look at it next time. But that's what we're going to be doing with the rivers, and we'll just do them all over. Lots of rivers, lots of opportunity for adventure on the water. And that'll be the basis of most of our world. So I'll get the forest filled in, I'll get the rivers filled in, and then we should have most of our world done. We'll come back and we'll color the mountains so they stand out properly. Then we're going to want to start doing some overlays. Where are the countries, where are all that stuff. So hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I'd ask you to please give a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ding the bell so you know when new videos come out. And follow all our other social media channels. You can find links in the description. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And until next time, build on.